Hello visuals and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Pokemon Thursday, the day of the week where we like to sit down on my bed, talk to you guys all about my favourite type of Venus flytrap. How many Venus flytraps are there? I imagine there's a few. Would there need to be a few? Because they all serve the same function where they just get the little flies and imagine being digested by a plant. Psych, not really. We're talking about Pokemon. Fortunately, not the new DLC stuff that we got announced. Well, but it's new. It's about a couple of weeks old now, isn't it? Which all looks great and whatnot, even though there's some fucked up shenanigans. But you know, the proper PokeTubers have done a great job of covering that. So we're just gonna do another Pokemon type favorite of list. And this week it's gonna get damn right hot. It's gonna get sweaty. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. We've got fire types to talk about. I'm going to count down my top 10. That kind of worked. That kind of fucking worked. You can't say that didn't work. That fucking worked. Visuals are top 10 favourite fire type Pokemon of all time. Well, I say ours, it's mine, but obviously I want to hear yours and whatnot. Like James, you've been commenting a lot saying, that Pokemon, you like Noctowl and the flying type one. I'm sure you said some other stuff. Did you mention Victory Bell, the grass type one? I can't remember. You definitely commented, so I want to hear about your fiery boys. No, the aim of the game, it's just we go from 10 to 1, counting down our favourite fire types, where we have a swag of our very extremely hot Kofi. But yes, please visuals, let me know your lists in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the thumbnail. I think the thumbnails are quite cool, adding the elements and whatnot. So here will this be then? We done grass, flying, water, fire. We've got the fundamental 3 out, and then flying. We'll do something mad next. We'll do fairy. We'll do fairy next time we do this, considering fairy is my least favourite typing out of all the typings. So we'll maybe do fairy next and just talk about the fairiness. But anyway, here's my 10 favourite fire type Pokemon of all time. Kicking us off, it's the big charcoaly bastard himself, Colossal. Yes, a relatively new Pokemon, only released in Generation 8 with Sword and Shield, but I fell in love with this whole line. Okay, remember the fucking, we got Roly-Coly and Clarko. More charcoal shit on wheels, but the whole design behind it's pretty cool, and of course when he goes into his big bad boy rager mode, even more epic. Just looks great. A Pokemon I use quite often when I did my reruns of Sword and Shield. Not that I've done one for a while. Maybe we're due one. But also the type, I like Rock Fire. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty dope. He looks menacing and scary and beefy and badass when he's rolling around in his big rock thingy and his fire and whatnot. Obviously a hell of a lot of weaknesses and shit. When you start combining, I've always thought when you combine types, sometimes it could just be a massive hindrance. Sometimes it really works out, but then you just like, a lot of you are going to get fucked up. I mean, there's a lot that fucks up rock and fire, but it's still a cool type, and I like rock types, and I like fire types, regardless of how many weaknesses they do get. But I like the design. I think it's a badass. I think what he's inspired off is quite cool. I think what the whole line is inspired off is quite cool. So, Colossal, number 10. 9, it's Torkoal, for no other reason apart from the fact that it's a big derpy dum-dum boy. And I remember my first ever playthrough of the Gen 3 games, and I had a Torkoal on my team. Or at least was it the second play? And early on, anyway, I remember a specific team in my head. I can't remember whenever it was I played it. And I had quite a beefy unit sort of a team. You know, all these big badass looking, you know, I had Sceptile on there. I had Garchomp. There was a Muck on there. We had, I'm sure, did we not go for a Lotad as well on the same team? Just this sort of bigger, you know, not Lotad's a Lombre. Ludicolo, sorry, is not massively thingy, but he's big. And all of a sudden we get down to just Derpy Turtle, and I just fell in love with him. I thought, you are so frigging cool. I love Turtle, or is he a Tortoise? Whichever one he is. I absolutely adore the design anyway. I love the whole smoking coming from the back. Of course, it's the gym leader's ace. Can't remember her name now. Wow, we're forgetting everybody's name today. It's her ace. Everything about him's cool as fuck. He has that typical Pokemon design that I like. I remember when I got excited because I got one of Pokemon Go because somebody, whoever it was that sent me it or whatever it is we done, and I thought, oh cool, I like Torkoal. So Torkoal is on the list. Number 8, we've got on our list, we have Turtonator, and I've also put Shiny. It's just, that's the best GIF I can find. I couldn't find its regular form, just chilling, or at least it wouldn't let me download one. But Turtonator, the main reason why I fell in love with this Pokemon was because of how fucked up it looks with all of its jagginess. It's all very you know, diamondy and pointy and whatnot. But I love the fact that it's just chilling with its shell behind it. It's just shit there, and it's just sort of like with its big beak, like, come on then, son. What the fuck are you going to do? Come at me, brah. And it's just such a badass Pokemon. Again, has that Pokemon feely for me. The weird-ass tail that sticks out at the end. The big badass shell. The way that, it, you know, you look at it. The only thing that freaks me out is the hole in the middle. I always like, it's like, you know, the soft spot on a baby's head. I'm always like, that shit freaks me out. But Family Guy did the whole rip on that was weird. But I think Turtonator is a great Pokemon. It's design as well. Design's amazing, but the dragon fire dragon, whichever way around it is, absolutely stellar. I know the Sun and Moon games get a lot of stick, but I personally really enjoyed them, and I thought it came out a great generation. I thought it was a great standout Pokemon for that particular Pokedex, for the generation 7, 6. I can't remember shit today. Generation 7 Pokedex, yeah, wouldn't it? Sun and Moon. Then we went to Sun and Shield. But Turtonator, absolutely beast, and the name itself, Turtonator. Plus, we got to see a hell of a lot of Turtonator action in the Sun and Moon series, which is always great fun. You get to fall in love with Pokemon. Me, anyway, a bit more for that reason, because you're interacting with them all the time. But Turtonator, great name, Turtonator, Terminator. I'm a fire boy, beast. 7 is Incineroar, along with Turtonator, along with Turtonator being involved in the Sun and Moon Pokedex. What a great starter, what a great design. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I like fire types, they're cool as shit. I like big, scary looking cats, and he's just stood there with his hands and his little thing in his tangle belt. And as well, we did an FFF a couple of weeks back about Turtonator. Me claiming to be a Pokemon fan and a wrestling fan, wasn't sure why he's a dark type. But now when I did FFF and I found out, it makes a lot of sense. He's a dark type because he's a heel in wrestling, which is the bad guy. So, you know, they're just bad, dark type, whatever. But, oh my god, what a fucking idiot. The shiny version of him was great as well. Litleo, the whole line great. Fell in love with him again even more because Ash had his own Litleo and Litten and eventually Incineroar. Yeah, Incineroar eventually evolved in it. Why can't I remember shit? Yeah, it did evolve to his final battle. I'm sure it did. Yeah, somebody correct me in the comments below. But great, and I love that sprite. I can't say enough how would you stand there and he's doing his whole shenanigans, and he just looks fantastic. He's a very cartoony looking Pokemon. He's not a traditional classic Pokemon-y looking Pokemon, you know, that I would personally say. But I love the over-the-top cartoon effect. Plus, I love the fact that him and Decidueye coming out at the same time. Popular line, okay, it is what it is. But Sun and Moon nearly got the whole starters for me. Absolutely spot on. Incineroar, big wrestling bad boy. Put you in a chokehold. Of course, I had to add them to the list. It's Charizard. Who doesn't love Charizard? I'm on the minority where I say it is my least favourite Gen 1 starter because it would go Venusaur, Blastoise, then Charizard. But I do really like Charizard, and I am fully aware and I appreciate his legendary and iconic status. Probably should be up there. Well, you kicking off that? I don't like you when you come here kicking off. I feel like we've got a ghost. Oh, as we getting parcel, there might be a parcel coming. But Charizard, the big, originally everybody thought, oh, it's a dragon, it's not. But again, he has such an iconic and unique and amazing design. He is an absolute, without a shadow of a doubt, of course he's an OG. He's a legend in his own making. As to why I wouldn't make him, I don't know why I wouldn't make him my favourite out the Cantonian starters. It is a little bit bizarre and it is a little bit odd. There was a parcel delivered just then, so I'm out of breath because I ran downstairs, but it wasn't for me. It's for my nephew. New desk. No one buys me shit. But yeah, Charizard, I don't like the Mega Evolution aspect's also cool. His big boy badass form, amazing. Some of the cards we get, like the recent release of the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection, beautiful. The promo cards are outstanding. But yeah, he'll just never be one of my favourite starters. I don't know why, but I do love him. He is a G. He is badass. And he's a flying type as well. And we love them. Number 5, it's Typhlosion. Now, when I was going through this list, Typhlosion was always going to be on this list. But the more I thought about Typhlosion and my memories of, you know, going through the Pokemon Johto and seeing Cyndaquil and the old artworks and getting the old Pogs and thingies and the crisp packets and using Typhlosion quite a lot of Magenta replays, and obviously Typhlosion getting a bit more love with a Hisuian form. I was like, you are actually amazing. Like, I think the world fell in love with Cyndaquil and how adorable it is. Quilava's absolutely just wicked as fuck. And Typhlosion really is just this big, ferrety, ratty, sort of fire badass. It looks great. It is a great, and I mean great design for a Pokemon. And there's not much to him. Couple of different colour changes, you know, the darker on the back and the lighter on the front, just sort of standing up. And unless his flames are animated, there's not much going on there. But he just looks great. Obviously, being a partner of Gold is always a big help. Because when you see Gold and his team in any sort of medium or art form, you get to that extra look at a new Pokemon. But Typhlosion really is outstanding when you think about it. Generation 2, Generation 1 and Generation 2, when they absolutely they set the bar completely high for how starters should be, you know. Even though I just said Charizard not being one of my favourites, but it is still an outstanding design. It's still perfect in terms of design and whatnot. And it's the same with Generation 2. They come along, Meganium, Feraligatr, and Typhlosion, just absolutely beautiful. Number 4 is Alolan Marowak. And Marowak probably, I don't think makes my top 10 for ground-type Pokemon. But Alolan Marowak, when a Marowak got that new extra bit of love in the Alolan form and the Alolan variation, I found so much more love. They really tied in the whole backstory of, you know, a Cubone and Marowak and whatnot into its ghost type element as well, which is cool. But he really, again, fits the Alola vibe, you know, the whole Hawaii carry-on, you know, what they're doing with the fire stick stuff, and you can see the drums and whatnot in the background. He fits the whole entire vibe so well, and it's such a great design. There's a Pokemon I always use in my Pokemon Go Great League team. Pokemon I used shitloads when I played my reruns of Sun and Moon and stuff. I keep pointing at the Xbox as if I played them on the Xbox. I just mean, like, you know what I fucking mean. But its design is outstanding. The fact that they made it a fire ghost, because I thought maybe they'd make it ground ghost or, you know, something like that. But the fact that it's fire, even better. And again, when we got the Let's Go stuff, the story of Marowak become a little bit more heartwarming again as well. And then when you think about, you know, the Alolan Marowak and the fire and whatnot, oh, it's just fucking absolutely beautiful, outstanding. And I just think when they're doing a regional variant, it's hard to tamper with an OG Pokemon, a classic Pokemon, because Marowak, again, will also be somebody else's favourite Pokemon. I have my little Cubone keychain up there. It's fucking adorable. That was a weird side tangent. So it's hard to, and it's scary to tamper with OG Pokemon like that. But they tampered with it, and they made it absolutely beautiful and outstanding. And for me, elevated a bit more and made a Marowak a bit better. So a little Marowak, you are a beast, and I love you, you big fiery ghost boy. Ho-Oh. He's a big, legendary, golden, fiery bird full of mystical, magical, mystery, rainbow shenanigans. I remember falling in love with this Sunagun the second we saw him in them early episodes of the anime and thinking, oh, I can't wait to see more about that. It had no involvement in the first gen. You're like, what the fuck was going on here? And a little bit of a mystery that unfolded with there. And I've always been Team Gold. I've always been Team Ho-Oh in the whole gold and silver shenanigans. The story of Ho-Oh and how he come about, his interactions with the legendary beasts and whatnot. I don't think I need to explain Ho-Oh too much because it's so fucking beautiful. It's so amazing. The films we've had, the anime arcs, the shenanigans of the games. It's a beast. It's shiny form. It's a big fire turkey motherfucker. I love me some Ho-Oh. I don't need to explain it anymore. He is definitely on the list. Who is Centre Scorch? And again, just like Turtonator, it's its shiny form. It's the best I could do. I'm sorry, I apologise. This is another mystery because we logged onto Sword and Shield for the first time and we got our hands on a Centre Scorch. And I've talked about him plenty of times to you visuals. I've talked about him loads. I went weird there. And I just fell in love with this random little fiery bug bastard. When I saw it, you know, the fire coming out of him and the little snake-like form, and again, his big boy form. Why didn't you stop calling the Gigantamax and the Dynamax big boy forms? That's just what I call it. And he's in his big snake-like form. Absolutely great. I think this is just a beautiful way to keep Pokemon. For me, it's a great way to keep Pokemon designs true to what Pokemon is for me as an individual player. I think they've smashed the design out of this completely. For me personally, he fits into every single generation absolutely perfect. I think you could get away with him being a Gen 1 all the way up to Gen 9. Because like I said, a lot of the newer Gen Pokemon are a lot more out there and colourful and cartoony and vibrant and whatnot. But for me, again, you could disagree because it's our own sort of list. But he fits in for me in any generation. Fantastic design. Two types that I really, really like. Well, there's some bug Pokemon that I adore, but bug Pokemon's never really the type itself that I absolutely adore. But yeah, I saw this bug boy and thought, I'm in love with you. And I don't know why. He's my favourite Generation 8 Pokemon. He's my second favourite Fire Pokemon. I love the bastard. And it's hard for me not to get him on my team when I do reruns of the Sword and Shield shit. Because I fucking love him so much. One, it's the double whammy. Another Pokemon that I have tattooed, but it's Arcanine. In the front of my shit, you can just see his legs there. Arcanine and Growlithe. Just, how can I not have them on the list? When I say a Pokemon, these are the epitome of it. The Rhydons, the Golems, the Arcanines, the Blastoises, the Venusaurs, the Pidgeots. When I think of Pokemon, this is what the ultimate design for me should look like. Shit, I should have got my center squatch down for what I did him. My plush is right up there, but never mind. Not so much the Hisuian form. I do really like the Hisuian form. I think it looks great. And again, I like the whole rock fire thing. That's fine with me. But the OG Cantonian forms, just so beautiful and badass. The fact that we see the Arcanine in the intro of the original anime running through the field, the fact that it was nearly going to be a legendary as well, you get that aura from him. It feels like whenever you get a Growlithe and you get your 5-star and evolve it, and you have an Arcanine in your playthrough, it feels like you have some sort of badass, what the fuck's going on here? Badass legendary in your team. He just looks great. He's so powerful. He's so useful. He's so handy. He's quick. He's relatively bulky. He's powerful as fuck. His design's great. And when I go to doodle Pokemon, he's quite often a Pokemon I will always doodle. And I really want that massive plush at the Pokemon Center release. That big, huge, giant, fucking beautiful thing. I really want it because it's amazing and beautiful. And I'm gutted that I haven't got it because I'm broke as fuck. But I do have a cool Growlithe plush down in the hallway. But Growlithe, Arcanine, I love them bad boys. I always will. I always have. Arcanine most definitely will always be in my top 10 lists of Pokemon, period, full stop, end of. And I hate that whenever games happen, and there's a Growlithe available, I always want one on my team, but I like to play new games with new Pokemon. And it's a nightmare because I'm like, I just really want to run around on an Arcanine. I really just want to play Let's Go and ride around on my Arcanine. There we have it, visuals. That was my 10 favourite fire-type Pokemon of all time. Well, I don't know what fuck. I mean, my hair's shit anyway, but hey, yo. But what's your favourite fire-type Pokemon of all time? Please let me know in the comments below. Should we? I'm going to do Fairy next, unless you guys want me to do Dark, Ghost, Psychic, Bug, Steel, whatever. Let me know in the comments below. But we're going to so far stick with Fairy. And now we've got 4 of our 17. Fire, grass, water, electric, flying, rock, ground, steel. I've already said fight. I've already confused myself. Grass, fire, water, electric, fighting, rock, ground, bug, psychic, dark, steel, ghost, fairy, normal, dragon, ice. I think I've said everyone, but I don't know how many I've counted. Them's your types. Well, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you don't mind another list. I didn't want to just chuck them out here, but I'm kind of having fun doing these videos every week because I get to just look through old Pokemon and fall in love with some different Pokemon over again. You come back in here, pal. You come back in, son. I get to fall in love with other Pokemon that I may have forgotten about or may not have interacted with or whatnot. Like the water typing one. That was quite a fun one to do. But if it's yours, let me know yours in the comments below. Dog's back. Judo elbow to the bum. Thank you so much for watching. Most keep being you and keep on keeping on.